On November 11, 1914, Daisy Lee Gatson Bates was born in Huddick, Arkansas. On November 11, 2020, on what would have been Mrs. Bates' 106th birthday, the Daisy Bates House Museum Foundation was awarded a $35,000 grant and formed a partnership with the West Fraser Lumber Company. Foundation President Charles King describes the occasion.
Well, first of all, it's a day of celebration. On November 11, 1914, Daisy Gatson Bates was born in Huddick, Arkansas. She later moved to Little Rock. They built this house. They constructed it, she and her husband, L.C. Bates, in early around 1953. But we're here today to celebrate what happened after they built this house, after she became the state president of the NAACP, and the magnificent job that she did leading the Little Rock 9 and the entire community into Central High School to bring out the change that we have in the world today. Well, we're real proud that the West Fraser Corporation from Mrs. Bates' hometown in Huddick, Arkansas, decided that they were going to help us close out the first of many projects that are slated for this house. And that is to build a fence, a security fence, wrought iron and brick around the house on the back and the sides so that we can keep out those forces that would destroy or damage the property. The wild animals and sometimes the kids that play and those type of things, so that we can preserve this structure into infinity, if you will.
Friends, supporters, and city officials attended the press conference to reflect on the legacy and impact that Mrs. Bates had on not only the community, but the world. Mayor Frank Scott Jr.
Activity at 1207. And so when I think about my grandmother, and I think about Daisy Bates, and I think about the word activity, the work continues.
That's right.
The work continues. And when we have this type of work, that when you think about Daisy Bates, L.C. Bates, we understand those who are historians, they were the marriage of the movement.
That's right.
But not only were they the marriage of the movement, we know that this black woman led the movement. She was the only woman to speak at the March on Washington. But we know even before that, she was prepared, she was persistent, and she was purpose-driven. And in times when it was not even socially acceptable, in times where we love to talk about our greats as if they were all light when they were here. Because she was prepared, she was able to understand that after Brown versus Board of Education, that we have to test this system. And while we love and honor and respect the Little Rock 9, we got to understand there were 27 others in 1956 that wanted to test those 4 schools, that paved the way that we even have the Little Rock 9. And because of the Little Rock 9, we have our story here in the city of Little Rock. That is not only a national story, it's an international story. And that story is that if you are prepared, if you are persistent, if you are purpose-driven, you can change anything.
That's it.
And that started in 1207. It started with preparation. It started with persistence and purpose-driven. So now as we fast forward now, in our nation, in our city, we are experiencing issues day after day. Just like they had activity. We have to have activity. So all of us here today, let's honor the legacy of Daisy Gatson Bates by being prepared, being persistent, and purpose-driven. That we drive a movement of unity, healing, and transformation. Thank you.
Reverend Dr. Arthur L. Hunt Jr. of Dumas, one of the key facilitators of the partnership between the Museum Foundation and West Fraser, reflects on this day.
I'm Arthur L. Hunt Jr. and today is a very special day. Daisy Bates Day, it's also Veterans Day. It's a day that we should mark our calendar how God has placed a strong woman in our very present. This day of dedication of the Chester Fort, a friend of mine, we were talking about Arkansas and he wanted to do something. And he needed to find key people who would help bring this day to fulfillment. And so I made some calls and Chester came and toured the home. And after they had one tour, his company, West Fraser, were very impressed and even more desirous to come and make the fence contribution today. It's a beautiful day, and God did it. I'm just happy to be a part of what God does, and we hope to see more in the coming days.
Local educator, poet, and advocate LaRon McAdoo shared what his experience was like working as a young cartoonist for the Arkansas State Press, the African-American newspaper founded by L.C. and Daisy Bates, and the lasting impact she had on his life.
My name is LaRon McAdoo, and at 18 years old, I was able to work as a cartoonist at the Arkansas Free Press. It was a phenomenal experience. It was the first kind of work that I had gotten, and so I was elated. But what I didn't know was that woman coming up in the wheelchair that I talked to and would laugh with was the magnificent, the historical, as I said earlier, historic Daisy Bates. And since then, I have studied, researched, learned about what she's done, what she's accomplished, what she fought to do, and she is one of my biggest heroes. I mean, honestly, outside of my father, it's women that are my biggest heroes. It's the Maya Angelos. It's those people, but at the top of my list is a Daisy Bates because of what she fought for, how she fought, her relentlessness. And so I so appreciate the opportunity to be here today to celebrate her birthday.
Hi, my name is Tony Cole. I am the present mayor of Huddick, Arkansas. And the history of Daisy Bates is so enduring, knowing that what she did allowed me to be where I am today. So happy birthday to you, Miss Daisy, and thank you for leading the path for me to follow.
The connection for me is that we have an operation in Huddick, Arkansas, and that's where we started our footprint 20 years ago. And so to support that community, to recognize and keep the name of Mrs. Bates going is very, very important to me personally, and also to that community, to keep something positive going. And so we wanted to donate this to help take care of and protect the home. And we love everything that she did, and she made opportunities for people like me. Thank you.
Last year, the Arkansas legislature passed a bill that would replace the two prominent citizens from Arkansas in Statuary Hall in Washington, D.C. Those two people that they decided on after numerous votes where they could not make a decision, but the first vote on the combination of Johnny Cash and Daisy Bates was passed almost unanimously. So tomorrow on Thursday at 10 o'clock, I will join the governor at the old State House downtown, where we will make an announcement of a fundraising effort to not only build or create those two statues, but to move them into Statuary Hall in Washington, D.C. And those two statues will be unveiled in 2022. We just think that it's an outstanding thing that the legislature and the people of Arkansas think that Daisy Bates is enough of a true role model citizen of Arkansas to represent us in Statuary Hall, along with other greats like Rosa Parks and two from every state in this country, and she is one of our two. One of the things that we think is really great about placing Daisy Bates in Statuary Hall is that the position that she will be in will be directly across the hall from Rosa Parks, who is one of the two from her state that are represented in Statuary Hall. And as you know, Daisy Bates being the mother of civil rights in Arkansas, Rosa Parks being the mother of civil rights in her home state, and they were both personal friends. So I think it would be just great that they will be in a position to look at each other into the next 100+ years.